Hey you guys, so I have had a lot of requests I have other videos extending the backdrop, but I've had a request that is a video just extending the backdrop. So I've chosen 4 images here that I'm gonna edit for, different, they all have different challenges. They're all 4 coincidentally 8x10 backdrops with well, 3 of them have 8x10 floor mats. And you can see they're a hot mess. This is literally straight out of camera. I have not touched them. One of them is a wall. One of them is 2 of them are scenes, and then one of them is sort of like a floral kind of abstract. And I think that this is gonna show you guys different ways. There's gonna be different challenges, and I'm kind of excited to show you guys this because I've learned a few things since I have done the other videos with extending the backdrop. Sorry, I'm going to take my bracelets off because they were making noises. All right, I'm going to start with this first one because it's going to be the fastest. This is a pretty little 8x10 backdrop. 2 of the backdrops are the same dress. This is from Before and Ever, and it's a client fan favorite. So usually whenever I start with these, this is actually a wall that on the other side of this is my bathroom, and this is my shooting room. My camera room is kind of an L shape, and it has challenges, but it works. So generally I'm shooting kind of from an angle. And so as you can tell, there's a little bit of distortion there, lens distortion. And so I'm going to show you guys the way that I fix this. So I'm going to first Command J, and I'm going to duplicate the image. Then I'm going to use my mouse, and while I hold down the Command key, I'm going to start to kind of stretch it. And, here in a minute, I'm going to show you guys, you don't have to really be worried about distorting the client and their face because she's in the middle. Now, if she was on the edge, it'd be a different, scenario. And what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to level out this bottom and kind of make it, a little bit more level. And sometimes you got to kind of back away to see that. So I'm fine with that. And I'm going to show you guys the difference. So, she looks a little bit taller, but she's definitely not distorted in any way. Like I said, if she was maybe over here, she would be, but she's not. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. All right. So, and I'm going to tell you the first thing that you need to do when extending these backdrops is to clean up your image first. Because if you don't clean up this image first, then the areas that you're going to be sampling and copying, you're going to have to clean up twice. So go ahead and, like I said, do your floor, clean up first, or any sort of imperfections in the backdrop from hanging. Now, I'm not going to mess with this line yet, but I am going to probably try to fix this portion of her dress. And what I did was I just selected it, and then as soon as I selected it, I hit the delete key. You're going to make sure what that's going to do is it's going to fill with what it tells you to fill. So so when you click this, you can choose what you're telling it to fill with. So you could use a background color, use foreground color, whatnot, pattern history, whatever. I use content aware because it's going to look around what I have selected and say, hey, I think that she wants, it to be this. So I am in a very old building, and so my floor is unlevel in some places, and so I'm going to fix that. I'm going to go ahead and delete and see what happens here. It might, not bad. But I'm going to go ahead and use the patch tool to kind of pull that over and select that. So a quick key for you to go full screen with your image is Command parentheses. I think it's right parentheses. Yeah. Command right parentheses, and I use that a lot. So as you can see over here, this is that wall, that white wall. And so when it's like a perfect square like this, it's the easiest in my opinion. So all I do is I come over here to this rectangular marquee tool, and I'm just going to pull down and select that area. And there's two ways that you can do this, okay? Generally, my go-to is going to be to just hit the delete key once that's selected and content aware is going to do its job. You know, and sometimes that does an okay job. Like you can see that we have a lot of repeating patterns here, which your eye's going to automatically go to. And so we can break that up with the patch tool. I'm going to go backwards here in just a second. Or we can choose the patch tool and just go, which actually I like to, if it's a perfect square, I'll go ahead and do the rectangular marquee tool, but then switch over to the patch tool. And then I'm going to take that selection and just drag it to kind of an area that looks kind of random. Like that works pretty well. I do like that a lot better than what I had chosen. So now I'm just going to take this patch tool and I'm going to go ahead and these little random bits, I'm just going to break up that pattern. So like this, I would rather that be kind of more, you know, of a different pattern. And you can just kind of mess with this until like I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that being repeating. So then I'm going to deal with this over here. There's two ways, okay, that I can do this. I can either try to do this and just see what happens. And I just hit delete with content aware chosen. And so we are going to go ahead and it's okay. So let's say we don't like that result. Let's go ahead and select again. Go to the patch tool. And let's do like that. I'm not going to worry about the bottom of her skirt. I'm more concerned with getting this where I kind of like it. Because that, and I can deal with that big turquoise circle. Like that's okay. I like that. All right. So let's say I want to stick with this. I would probably make that a little bit more random. I don't like that area. And I'm fine with that and I can clean this up. So let's say I change my mind. I don't like that. So part number 2, or actually option 3, is I'm going to select this other side. All right. I'm going to hit Command J and I'm going to copy it. Okay. So as you can see, if I bring this over, this is darker because my light source is over here. So with this layer selected, I'm going to Command L and that's going to bring up my levels. And I'm going to actually bring the levels up until it looks similar to that. Okay. Then I'm going to, while this selected, we're going to transform it and we're going to flip it horizontally. Now it matches. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it down and then I'm going to stretch it up a little bit until I feel like it looks like it kind of goes better with the floor. And I'm fine with that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. It's telling me a heat advisory. No kidding. No kidding. Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it a layer mask. That's this button down here, which means if you're not familiar with layers, adding this mask is going to allow me to manipulate this layer. So I'm going to be able to brush it off. I'm going to show you. So if it's white, I'm doing what it shows. If I switch to my black brush, I'm going to be able to manipulate it. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. Oh, I'm on screen. So I'm going to go back to normal. Hold on. I'm recording. And I do like that a lot better. I like that a lot better. A lot. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looked like. Much better. Much better. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. Okay, so I have flattened that. And I'm noticing that there's some weirdness right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my rectangular marquee tool, and then I'm going to go down to the patch tool. And I'm just going to copy that. Yeah, that's way better. Okay, now we're going to decide what we're going to do with this line. You can choose to leave it. You can choose to just take your spot healing brush and just go like this to get rid of that line, and then go like this to get rid of that line, and leave it at that. What I like to do sometimes is I like to go back to the patch tool and just do like that, because I feel like when we do this, it just blends in better. Okay. And so there we go. One thing that I did notice when I backed out is this area right here, and it's a little bit lighter, and my eye kind of goes there, and that's not where I want my eye to go. I always want my eye to go to my subject. And so I'm going to Command J, and I'm going to use, because I don't want to work off of the background layer, I want to work on a copy because I want to be able to adjust it. So I'm going to go to my burn tool, and I'm going to make sure that it's set to midtones. And then I'm just going to kind of burn that out a little bit. And I'm going to show you like that quick, just such a big difference. Because I'm going to want my, subject to pop. Okay. So there's that. Now, I'm not going to do some mega retouching on her face, since this is really just about extending the backdrop. But I am going to go ahead and edit this out. So I'm going to go ahead and do a Command J. I'm not going to do all of the normal facial retouching that I do. Like I said, I'm just trying to, finish this out with the actions that I'm going to use. So I'm going to run Portraiture on this, on her little face. And I'm not going to worry too much about it because, like I said, I'm going to focus more on extending the backdrop for you guys and then just running the actions that I would use. Generally, the first action that I use is from Painterly Portrait Collection, and it's Campbell's Soup Cans. It's just a good little brightener, makes everything pop just a little bit, but not too much. I feel like with this one, the next one I did was probably Center Stage, from the Jessica Drossin Illuminations Instant Overlays Volume 2. That looks about right. It is a little bit wonky on her face, so I'm going to mask that off a bit. Make sure I go back to my brush. I'm going to bring my opacity down to about 27%, and I'm just going to take that off of her face a little bit. That looks great. Computer was being a little bit slow. One thing I didn't do though is I did not pop her eyes. So my favorite portrait retouch collection from Greater Than Gatsby, I'm going to go down to All Over Eye Foundation. This really helps to make sure that my brush is back at 100. It really helps to bring your, subject into focus. Like, she needs to be the main focus, not really the background. The background is just for prettiness. And then one thing that I absolutely love, this is kind of a little secret of mine here, is in that retouch collection, there's an action called Sun In Lightener. Technically, it's supposed to be for like outdoor photos, but I do what I want, and I just really like it with my indoor photos. And as you can see, it just sort of pops your subject. And honestly, I'd probably leave that there. I think that looks pretty good. I could go in and do some painterly actions, but I think that looks great. So yay, there's Kaya and this beautiful, I'm going to go ahead and before, after, before, after. Just so pretty, so pretty. Now next, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do the second level difficulty, which would be this one of Cameron. Love, 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 love. And we're going to get started with this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and, okay, first of all, I have to tell you that this backdrop is legit one of my most all-time favorite ones that they've done for fall ever, 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 ever. Love, 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 love it. It's just so pretty. It really pops. I love it. I loved this little Bentley and lace dress that I photographed, and it just went perfectly with this backdrop. Okay, so like I did in the other one, we're going to do just a smidge bit of manipulation. So I'm going to Command J to make a copy off of the background. I'm going to choose my move tool. I'm going to hold down Command, and I'm going to kind of bring it down just a smidge. I'm trying to look at the shape of the front door in the backdrop because I want that to just be a little bit more square, or I should not squared. I shouldn't say squared. I should say rectangular. Let's make up some new words there. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. All right, so what I love about these backdrops with the darker edges is it makes it so much easier, you know, to extend. And because, I mean, worst case scenario, you could literally make this area black and then just, you know, copy over some of these flowers and you're done. So easy. But like I told you earlier, first thing we're going to do always, always, always is clean up the backdrop and the floor, because we don't want to be doing that twice. Okay. Because if you clean it up once, then you're copying over something that's ready to go, as opposed to something that still needs to be cleaned up. Normally I would have, I'd never have to do this, but these beautiful, and this one right here shed so bad, and I don't care, whatever. It was worth it because they're so pretty. But these, oh my gosh, they shed like crazy. Normally, I would have already run my pet roller on the floor. But every time they would move those flowers, and I just gave up. I was like, forget it. I'll just do it in Photoshop, which I hate doing. Because I don't really like, I mean, I do. It's funny because I shoot a lot of videos editing, but I hate editing. In reality. Okay, another thing I'm gonna show you guys while we extend this backdrop is how to fix this transition, which actually technically should probably be a video all on its own of editing transitions from the backdrop to the floor. Okay, first, one thing I am gonna do is wait to fix this, because I don't really know what's going to happen with this. I've already edited these images, but to be honest, I don't even remember what I did. So, okay, for this one, we're going to try two different methods. I'm going to go ahead and use the rectangular marquee tool and just go ahead and do what we did before, where we just select it and hit delete, and it's just, oh, beautiful. That's literally almost perfect. I don't like this little hump here. So all I've got to do there is just kind of use that patch tool and just patch it. Because I know that the actions that I'm going to use on this are going to darken the sides and down here. So I'm not super worried about what's in this. I don't mind this. That's kind of cool. I don't mind this. It kind of looks like it kind of goes into it. This, I might go ahead and just add a little bit in there just because it kind of helps the transition of it. This fan, I think I'm going to go ahead and see what happens if I just try to select that and delete it. I didn't pre-edit these before I did it. That's not bad. I don't mind that. I do not mind that. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up so that when I try to use content aware on this, it's not going to use this gap as what it thinks it's supposed to be. So I need this to be correct as it can before I try to copy it over. And I'm just going to try the rectangular marquee tool again and just see what happens. It might repeat those patterns too much and we might hate it, but oh, look at that. Well, would you look at that? And you know what? I almost thought I should fix these lines, but it looks like siding. And you know, I could take this part and kind of like that. Oh, yes. Okay, I like that. Well, heck, that was easier than what I thought it would be. I don't really like how this ends. So I think I like that a lot better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to deal with this transition. I'm super impressed with what that did. So yay, that was a good surprise. All right, so with this entryway, you can make a decision, okay? You can either say, all right, we're on a porch. This could be a threshold, all right? This looks like a mat, like a doormat. But let's say you didn't, or you didn't like this. So what you can do is you can select this and just go like that and treat what's in front of the door like it's a doormat. See, that looks like a doormat to me. So then I want to fix around this. I want to fix this little area right here because my eyes go there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work behind it. So what I'm going to do right now is use the quick selection tool, and I'm just going to select these flowers the best that I can. I don't want it to select that lighter part. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing this here in just a second. So because what I'm going to do is I want to work behind this, if that makes sense. It's just easier, okay? This is just a quicker and easier way. So once that's selected, I'm going to hit Command J. And what it's going to do is it's going to copy what I selected onto a new layer so that then we can work behind that layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that. Bam. Just bring it down a little bit. And actually that looks really good because what I was going to do was use this layer mask and brush off this area right here. That looks great. I'm happy with that. Okay. Picasso. All right, so I'm going to flatten that. Next, what I'm going to deal with is this straight edge because this is not reality, right? This isn't really what it would be looking like. So what I can do is try my patch tool, select it. Okay, I like that because then I'm going to take my burn tool. I'm going to Command J because what I'm going to do is I'm creating shadows in this backdrop. This in reality would not be, I'm going to go switch to shadows, would not be a straight line. All right, I know this is super dark, but just go with me here. Because these buckets and stuff would have shadows on this ground. See? So then you can actually take this and kind of bring it down just a little bit if you wanted. And then we're going to come over here. And I'm really going to do the same thing here. Much better. And then I'm going to grab that burn tool and we're just going to make these shadows of these buckets. Do you have to do this? No. Does it matter? Yeah. Because what we are doing here, when we are shooting these backdrops, I don't like that. When we're shooting these backdrops, we're creating reality. So our job is to make it look as real as possible. And see, we're already getting there, right? We're already getting there. Okay, I'm not going to do facial retouching on Cameron. But I am going to show you what that looked like. Boom. Before. After. Before. After. Much better. Much better. Okay. So like I did earlier, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of facial retouching on her, but I am going to go ahead and use that all over eye foundation to pop her eyes. Okay. So that your eyes go right here. I'm going to flatten that. I'm going to go ahead and run Portraiture real quick. So I'm going to Command J. I'm going to go to Filter. A lot of people, one of the questions I get most is Portraiture worth the money? Yes. Absolutely. And I am noticing some things that I would probably edit on her gown or her little dress. But I'm probably not going to do right now. Like I would probably bring this poof down a little bit and get rid of this ribbon, but I'm just not going to worry about that right now. We're going to pretend like I did that, okay? All right. So this area is kind of bugging me, but I'm going to make sure that it's going to be gone after I do what I do. All right. I'm going to go ahead and run my Campbell's soup can. Now it did a little bit too much to the contrast, so I'm just going to bring it down to about 18%. Then I'm going to run my Norm, which is my center stage from Jessica Drossin Illuminations Instant Overlays. Now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take it off and see. I believe that's what I did last time because my light source is kind of this shop window. It's not really coming from above. See, I want it to kind of illuminate these flowers, but not really from above. And then I don't really care for how it looks on her face. And sometimes it does that and sometimes it doesn't. Also, sometimes you've got to be careful with this one because sometimes it'll make their legs orange. I'm going to take it off some more of her face. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to try the Flashlight Cool from the same overlays collection. My poor doggy. She's tired. She got shots today, so she's not happy with me. So I'm going to take this off of this just like I did the other one. I'm going to take this. I'm actually going to move to 100% and take this off of her. We're in the bugs hitting my windows stage of summer. I'm going to take this off of this because it really, you can see in this little window kind of what it's doing. And so I'm just going to take it off of that. Okay. On this one, I know for a fact that I did Gary the Gatsby Painterly Portrait 2. And I know that I ran Turner, which is kind of a oil paint look. You'll see. It looks really pretty on these images. Yep. And that's like complete overkill, but we're going to bring it up just where it kind of makes everything kind of cohesive looking. And then I'm going to take it off of her face. I always take the paint off of their face. And usually if they have like a super detailed dress, I'll take it off of that too. Okay. Then I'm pretty sure I did Cubism, which is a finishing tone within this collection. If it wasn't this one, it's probably Romanticism, which is a fave of mine. So let's see. Nope, wasn't that one. Y'all are in this with me. Sorry. And I might not have even used one of these on it, honestly. Because what? Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, so this is Romanticism. You'll see it just kind of warms everything up and just brightens it up. Gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that because I know that's where I am. And then I'm going to use, so we can use lights to do this. We can use reflectors, but sometimes I choose to use actions to make that pretty glow behind them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. So one thing I love about the Jessica Drossin overlays is that they have these handy, I just had somebody comment or message me or something saying, hey, oh my gosh, thank you so much for telling us about these Jessica Drossin, because they are just incredible. And they truly are. And just for the money alone in these bonus actions that she gives you, and she cares so much. Like, I test things for her quite a bit. And I mean, I just love working with her because she really wants us to be happy with what she does, and it shows. All right, so it's going to go through all this, and this is pop highlights. I have a whole video on just this action. No kidding. What this is going to do is it's just going to make it, we're just going to turn the lights on in this building. And so we're going to bring it down a little bit. And sometimes if it makes it, you can actually open this action if it makes the saturation a little bit too much. And you can bring that down. Like, I brought the saturation down quite a bit. And then you can see that it just sort of makes this beautiful glow. Then we're going to go back to my fave, which is that Sun Enlightener action. And we're just going to pretend like, you know, this window light is just kind of casting its light on everything. Okay, we're going to bring that down, and we're just going to bring it up until we kind of like it. I'm even going to add some of it on the floor because I feel like, yes, look, so pretty. And so see, I'm in such a small studio. It is so hard for me to use multiple lights, and this just makes it look so realistic, and it's just worth the extra effort. Okay, it's like magic. Usually after this, I would do my final. I'm cool with this, and then my final would be this. So, and this is optional. Joy of Light, the Greater Than Gatsby Light and Airy, which is a great collection. And Finishing Boosters, they have one that's called Silky Soften Boost, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite actions, just a good finisher. And it just kind of brings everything together. Sometimes it's a little bit much, but I just love that little finishing touch. Love. And then sometimes if it's just a little bit dull and I think, you know, it needs a little pop, I'll go back to my Greater Than Gatsby Painterly Portrait collection and just hit it with a Leonardo. Now this is going to be extreme. Okay, see, that's like, whoa. But we're just going to pop her just a smidge. And really, I'm always looking at those highlights. And there we go. Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. And then I'm going to do a before. Oops. Sorry. Before. After. Before. After. Gorgeous. Okay, since we did that one, okay, this was like level 1, this was like level 2. This one's gonna be a challenge, but we're gonna work through it, okay? This one is not as much of a challenge as this one, maybe. So I should probably do this one next, yeah. I absolutely love these walls, but they sometimes provide an editing challenge. So I would tell you that the easiest way to go about this is to always, no matter what it is, actually, no matter what background it is, always take a photo of just the background without your subject and the entire background. Because you never know when you're going to need that. It takes 5 seconds, if that. And so it's just so much easier. Okay. We are going to go ahead and do what we've done with the other ones. We're going to hit it with a Command J. And I'm going to straighten this a little bit. We're going to pull it. My computer's being slow. That looks pretty good. I'm just trying to get it straight. How's that? I think I need to come down over here a little bit. looks looking pretty good, looking pretty good. That looks good. That looks good. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, okay, okay. I'm going to flatten that. And I'm going to first, I'm going to clean this up. Clean it up, clean it up. Okay. I think I don't want this in there. Because when I'm doing this, I'm trying to make this perfect where I can use it on the edges. And I'm going to show you what the heck I'm talking about. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of this thing that was at the top. And then I think I'm actually, now it's been like a year since I actually edited this. I tried to get ones that wouldn't be easy for me. I'm not going to lie. I wanted a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to try to make these even with Liquify. So I'm just in Liquify right now, because I really want these to be as even as possible. And when I say these, I mean this crown molding or whatever the heck you want to call it. Which I think it is crown molding, but all right, so we're going to work with that here in just a second with this tool. There we go. So we've got this one right here, the spot healing brush. And it usually does a pretty good job. That's pretty good. There we go. It usually does a pretty good job of that. Let's see what it does with this. Because worst case scenario, I just hit delete that time. That's not bad. It's not bad, but I think we can get it better. That's not looking bad. Okay. What I do is I look for repeating patterns and see where my eye goes first. Okay, we're good. All right, so these areas down here, because I am a lazy person and did not make sure that my backdrop had no wrinkles. Usually I'm better than this. Ooh. You know what though? The more that I screw this up, the more I pay attention whenever I take pictures. I could technically probably make it easier on myself and use the rectangular marquee tool, but let's make it difficult. Okay, that doesn't look so bad. Alrighty, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to work on this floor real quick, because it's easier to work with this than like a light stand, for example. Okay, fine. I'm going to fix that in a minute. So the thing with these wall backdrops, they're easy, but they're hard. And you're going to know what I'm talking about here in just a second. So what I need is this wall to repeat over here and to repeat over here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to grab all of this. Okay. So I've noticed I have stopped this at the edge of this backdrop. I'm going to hit Command J. Okay. I'm going to bring down my opacity. And what I'm trying to do is line up these panels. There we go. Decently. Okay. And then I'm going to put a layer mask on it. I'm going to choose the opposite brush because I'm going to paint away. Actually, sometimes it's easier. So if I command I, I'm going to invert it. And sometimes it's easier to paint in what you're doing. And you'll see what I'm talking about right now. Okay, we're going to see if it looks better to just use, yep. And you know, don't get frustrated if this isn't easy for you the first time. That looks great. I'm going to flatten that. So there's the right side, okay? Now, I know that this is a repeating pattern, okay? What I can do is, if that bothers you, I'm going to show you here in just a second. So don't get caught on that, okay? So now I'm going to grab that. Actually, I think we're going to do this. Okay. We're going to try it right here. Because her dress, you know what we're going to do? We're going to invert it, or we're going to flip it. We're going to, okay. The way you transform a layer is go to edit. With your layer selected, go to edit, go down to transform. You can rotate it with these, or you can flip it. I'm going to flip it horizontally, which looks kind of wonky. Let's see. What we're going to do is hold down Command. Let's see if that matters. I'm going to bring down the opacity of it. And y'all are doing this with me in real time here. And this might need to be done that way, you know? Let's see what happens. Let's just see. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to put a layer mask on it, and I'm going to Command I and invert it. I can fix that. I don't like the way that looks. I could stretch it. Y'all are doing some real time with me, by the way. Like I said, I edited this forever ago. Let's see if we like this column better than the other one. We don't want this to look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa here. I don't know why that's dark. I guess that's supposed to be the shadow. That didn't look right. That's better. Okay, look, I know what I'm going to do. As long as that's okay, I can fix this. And sometimes this turns into a back and forth, and it's okay. You just gotta kind of work with it, because I will show you guys what I'm gonna do with this. Okay, but do we like that? It's not bad. I think I can fix this. I think I can fix that. I could have just repeated this over here and made my life a lot easier, but this is all fixable. I'm going to go ahead and flatten because I'm going to show you guys. Let's see. I think we can deal with this. Let's see what it's going to do. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Because, I mean, really, technically right here, we're creating this. Because her dress was in front of this. Not bad if this would just do what it's supposed to do. Sometimes it does that, and when it does that, I will Command J and choose the clone stamp tool and make sure it's not on light and make sure it's on normal. Hit Option. There you go. I think I made this a lot more difficult on myself, but it's okay. I mean, I like you guys having to see this process. That's not bad. Not bad. Let's see what happens if I, oops. You can't lasso delete, which is what I call it, with, on a layer. You gotta like flatten it. I'm okay with that. Mom would be fine with that. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into liquefy really quick because this column is annoying me. You'll see what I mean. You got to be careful when it's lines. Much better. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, what I was saying earlier, but you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I don't mind. Because I'm going to tell you, these two look similar, these two look similar, and then this one's different of the panels. All right, I think we're good. Because here's the deal also is I'm just going to go ahead and do light retouching like I did on the other ones. Because here's the deal. You can use like some gradient filters to kind of not blur it, but just sort of make it look a little bit more cohesive. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is pretty simple editing. You can see it's pretty much good. Like you could leave it at that if you wanted to. I have in this, where's it at? Oh, here it is. Okay, in this Joy of Light, Light and Airy, the greater than Gatsby ones, there's these gradient hazes and these airy vignettes, which are so pretty. So like there's a blue poppy haze. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So like that, I mean, it's like overkill, but it's so pretty. And see how it just sort of lightens it a little bit? Or you can do the vignette, which just makes it kind of lighter. And then you could even go and like brush it off of her gown. So pretty. Like that's really pretty actually. And then you can, there's one that's called Evolve in the JD Illuminations Instant Overlays Volume 2. And it's just kind of a little light. Like if you wanted some light coming in there, you don't have to. You can paint it off of her also. But it just kind of is kind of a directional light, as you can see in this, and that's pretty too. But like, I'm good with that. And then JD Illuminations has one that's a gentle bump, and it's pretty too. So yeah, I mean, I would be okay with that. And then hit it with that Silky Soften in the Light and Airy collection. And I'm noticing now on the floor, there's some things on the floor that I could fix. I'm going to get that off of her. Flatten. I'm going to use this. And we're good. And so let's look at our before. So we went from that to that. And then if you want to pop it, like that Leonardo action in the Painterly Portrait collection really pops the blues. It adds a lot of blue to the image. And so if you have a lot of blue and you wanted it more blue, or if mom wanted a brighter blue, you can just kind of add that. Or if she wanted a more muted blue, you can add that. So pretty. Then I'm going to add some of that. Oh, that's really pretty, actually. And that just kind of gives it that pop of blue, which is so pretty. So pretty. You could even add, if you wanted, a little bit of warmth, but I think that it's pretty much, I mean, it's pretty. Like, I mean, I like it as is. I don't like the golden tones, but warming it up a little bit is pretty. But I mean, I like that. I don't shoot a whole lot of super cool images, but this looks good. Like, I'm good with that. So, yay! One more time. Here's the before. And here's the after. All right, we are back with the last image. And this one's going to be a doozy, but we're going to get through it together. Okay. Command J is going to copy. And then I just want to pull this up and bring it down just a smidgy on this side. My computer is so slow. Is that better? I'm asking you guys like you can respond. Yes. Okay. We are going to go into layer. Today, Junior. And then we're going to flatten it. Bloop, bloop. And then I'm going to go into filter, and I'm gonna fix the wood slats back there, because I know if I don't do it, they're gonna come back to haunt me. Because I'm telling you right now, before you start fixing anything, you have to fix the background, because the way I'm gonna do this is similar to the last one that we just did when we took the panel and then copied it, because we're going to really do that, and we're going to flip it to kind of be the other side of this bouquet. That doesn't make any sense, but it's gonna. Okay, so what we're going to do is, okay, I've pulled up this picture, which is not exactly the same perspective as the other one, but I have more background and more floor, so it should work. All right, so we're going to go to rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to select that right to the edge of that backdrop print. And then I'm just going to drag it over here. And I'm going to bring down the opacity so that I can see through it to line it up. So what I'm trying to line up is, do you see this little flower jar? And there's a little flower jar over here, there's a little flower jar over here, and there's a little flower jar right here. What I'm going to do is try to line, I'm going to have to make it a little bit smaller though. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try to make it look like this flower is this flower, if that makes sense. So we're going to line that up right there, and we're going to see how that works out. Oh, very good, very good, very good. Okay, it's a little bit darker than the existing one, so you know what to do. Select it. Command L is going to bring up your levels, and then we're just going to bring it to where it looks similar. Now, I am going to say that this looks a little bit thinner, so I'm going to actually make it a little bit smaller. Let's see how that works. So I've made a layer mask. I think it needs to come over a little bit more. There we go. Oops, I must have been, okay, so if that ever happens and you go to brush on it, I was on the actual layer and not on my mask. So you want to always make sure you're on the layer mask. And then if it's white, you need to flip. That looks pretty good so far. I'm going to bring this down because I want these flowers. And I'm going to paint back in these flowers. There we go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Can I fix that? I could probably fix it once I flatten it. But I like that. Because I think the rest of it I can fix. And you know, an alternative to this would be for you to ask mom, like, hey mom, do you think that you're going to print this at all? And if she says, you know what, probably not, then you can always crop it as an 8x10 and go about your business. But if mom doesn't really know what she's going to do with it, if she might print it as like a 16 by 24 or something like that, then you don't want to crop it. Okay, what I'm going to do right here is actually that. Well, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, let's get rid of this. And really, do I expect you guys, that looks not bad. Do I expect you guys to do this with every image? Heck no. But if you wanted one image like this, this is how to do it. And I'm trying to show you these different ways so that you can use them on different images and images that aren't so challenging. Keep missing that. My dog's still mad at me. Okay, now what we're going to do is, and you notice that this is a little bit more blurry than this. Don't worry, we're going to fix that. Okay, this looks fine. So what I'm going to do is select this part, which I guess technically I could have selected that. And then we're going to edit, transform, flip horizontally like we did earlier. Then we're going to Command L to bring it down to be more similar to the color of that. Then we're going to edit, transform, flip horizontally. Okie dokie dokie. So here's this. Most of that is showing. What I mean by that is this. So I think I'm going to do it like that. And my reasoning is that I'm trying to connect this flower right here with this pot. You know, you could save time by choosing that layer and going to blur, Gaussian blur. Geez, not that much. And that's pretty similar. I think it needs to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to pull up levels again now that I have it there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is a little bit smaller than this, but that's okay. It just looks like a smaller arrangement. So then I'm going to put a layer mask on it. And I'm just going to paint through this. Because I want this to be, I'm trying to blend in these panels right here. And I'm going to blend in this flower. See how that looks like it actually goes together. And I'm going to do that. Because I think I can work with that. Yeah, I'm good with that. So really what you're doing, and like honestly, if you don't like putting together puzzles, this is not for you. I'm going to go into liquefy. And hey, you guys, I'm going to tell you something. This is like a pretty difficult one. I mean, I'd put this level of difficulty pretty high up there, even for me. So don't watch this and be like, holy crap, I could never do this. Yeah, you can. Just choose a different image, crop it, buy a wider backdrop. I think I'm going to go ahead and just move that up. Yep. Then we're going to take this and just hit it with a delete, see what happens. Okay. Hit that with a delete, see what happens. It's pretty good. I don't really like this little panel. It looks weird. It still looks weird. That looks better. That looks better. Because look, okay, I'm not going to touch her, okay? Like, once again, I'm not going to waste your time with facial retouching. I have videos on that. I'm going to go down to what I would normally do, which would be a center stage, because it's going to add that depth over there. Yep. And then I'm going to get it off of her. Because another thing I'm going to add too is that painterly action in the painterly portrait collection too. Turner. It's just a deeper one. And I should have added some blur to this that I pulled over and I didn't, but that's okay. Yeah, that's much better. We'll pull it over quite a bit. Then I'm going to take it off of her. And then we're going to go into probably romanticism. Is probably what I used. I mean, this actually doesn't look bad. Then I can pop it again with a Leonardo layer. And like I said, please, oh yeah, beautiful. And please don't let this, I think my dog needs to go outside. Do you need to go outside? You need to go outside? Okay, hold on. Hold on. And then I'm going to pop this. And I love the way it popped her in this middle, but I'm not loving what it's doing to this. So all I'm going to do then is choose that layer mask and hit Command I, and it's going to invert it, which means it's just going to take it all off and make it where I can paint it on where I want it. Beautiful. And then this is still bothering me, so I'm going to show you guys how to, which there's actions for that, which is fine. But it should still hold my information from the amount that of blur that I put on this. So I'm going to Command J. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go back to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and you can see it just sort of blurs it. It gives you a preview on the image, and I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to make it a layer mask, and I'm going to Command I, which is going to invert it. It's going to take it off, but then I can paint it back on. So I'm just going to paint that blur on over there. And I like that. Let's hit it with a sun enlightener. Gorge. Oh, that's so pretty. And I didn't even retouch her at all. Like normally she would pop and I would have her retouched. And I'm not mad about this. I could nitpick it, but I'm not going to because I'm not mad about it. And Mom will be thrilled. Here's what Mom always says when I do these, all right? Does it take a little bit longer? Yeah. But once you've done this one and you have another image like this, you can take this, just how we took this, you can then take this and use it, okay? My suggestion would be to save this before you run your actions on it so that you're using, you know, a base image. You're sampling a base image instead of an image that has your saturation and everything. But I'm not mad about this, and I have done no retouching to her. And she would truly pop if I did. But I'm going to take you back to the beginning, man. I mean, look at that. So was it difficult? I mean, yeah, not for me. I mean, it was challenging, but not difficult. But once you start doing this, you're going to figure out what works best for you and your images. Is it, you know, pulling over from another image? Is it using the patch tool? Is it, you know, rectangular marquee and delete? You know, is it the clone tool? And the more you do this, the more you do this, the more you're going to learn, and it's going to become faster for you, and it's just going to be easier. And I just really hope that going through these more difficult and challenging images with me, even though it probably feels like we're like going in slow motion, has helped you a little bit. But yeah, there you go. I feel like that was pretty good. These images, we can go back through these images really quick. So, the first one we did was a simple one. And then we did this. Let me pull this over. Okay. Then I think we did Cameron with this one. That was, you know, not simple, but easier. Then we did our, you know, redundant wall, I'm going to say, panels, which started out with this. And then we brought to that. Then, you know, level difficulty crazy, that we went from this to this. And you guys might be wondering why I always do this. And I feel like when I see it this way, I'm catching imperfections better than whenever I blow it up. So you'll see me come back and come forward because it's just letting me see the whole image better. I would truly appreciate it if you guys had any questions at all to comment below because, you know, I make these and I'm trying to help you guys. And so if it's helpful, if it's helpful at all, please, feedback is so important to me. Let me know, please. If it wasn't helpful at all and you're confused, let me know what you're confused about, and I'll do my best to make another video. I go live quite a bit in my Facebook group, and so it's Gowns and Crowns with April Massad, and I'll link it below. You're free to join that group. You know, I go live quite a bit in there, and I'm going to announce a lot of things in there, and my doggie's on me. So she wants to go outside. Okay, I'm coming. So like I said, feedback is super helpful to me. So if you have any feedback for me, comment below. Hope this video found, you guys, and you found it helpful, and we will talk to you later. Bye.